Thank you for staying here late. And I'm going to switch the gear a little bit. We're going to go a little bit philosophical about how our work and life is going to evolve into and how design and construction should go around it. The work nest, a demo of future of work. Next. The way we would like to work. How would we like to work? We would like to have extended physical space. Our space is getting more and more limited. We would like to have portable office and the prompt access to information. I'm a digital nomad. No matter where I go, I would like to have access to the information I always have at home and at work. And the balanced emotional wellness. No matter how hard I work, I would like to put myself in a workspace that put me at comfort. Next. The solution. The technology has made all those dreams possible. Use virtual reality to curate a workspace that you would like to work in. And use connected data points that you can retrieve decision-making information at your fingertip. And use Internet of Technology and the drone technology to direct and deploy workforce out in the field. Next. So brought to you, Work Nest. Next. This is our prototype, sits upstairs. Feel free to go and immerse yourself. This prototype is single user, Vive, fully immersive. Let me tell you what this experience is about. You walk into your favorite workplace. In my example, I like to work in the forest. We have a dome that situates you in a comfortable place. And we have customer-designed egg drop that will stream work information for you. And we will have controls that can stream dashboard along the peripheral of your dome. And we call it Work Nest because it's working. It's also your home. We will have, next, we'll just go ahead and talk a little bit about what this can bring to you as a general worker. So we can perform usability study in this comfortable space with your client, who we as human always have a growing desire for lifestyle and service-driven workspaces. Our next generation of demand is experience and wellness. And think about the next Home Depot order is no longer ordering carpet or wood floor. You're going to order plants. And integrate a workflow optimization for real estate construction or any profession that you would like to have a real-time reporting of your workers' progress on the field. Next. The prototype feature. A little bit more about the picture you just saw. Pendant light to access virtual tours. Easy for you and your client to access. Use user-intuitive ways. There's no screens. All you need to do is to walk over to the egg nest, and you stick your head in it, and you will start your virtual tour. Real-time data feed into space and the plant growth. And your business and environment will breathe and grow with you. You know why dashboard and Excel spreadsheet has to look like charts? Why they cannot look like trees? And the last, immersive job site tour enabled by field drone and the video stream. We'll have our team member to talk a little bit more about this. Next. A little picture of growing plants on the nest that's hanging from the ceiling. Next. A job site tour on the other pendant. Next. So it's a dream, and takes a dream team to finish it. And many thanks for Renee, Russell, Cynthia, Larry, Eduardo, and myself. And also a lot of thanks to Adrian to give us the drone footage. And I'm going to turn it over to Renee to talk a little bit more about real estate application for WorkNest.
Thanks, Jude. So my name is Renee Fresquez. I'm a design technologist. I think Jude did a great job of painting a beautiful picture for us. I'm going to try and get into a little bit more of the technical details on how this might be applied to the AEC industry. I think if we can go back a slide. Let's go back one more slide even. So to talk a little bit about that plant, the idea here being that we have floods of data coming out of our job sites nowadays. So how do you digest that data, or how can we make that data a little bit more visceral, maybe the word, or a little bit more immediately understood or implied. So the idea with the plant is that as the plant grows, it may be responding to maybe job site conditions, it may be responding to biometric conditions from the user themselves. So it's a kind of passive feedback that kind of feeds the environment that you're in as well. We go forward one slide. That's the one. So the other idea is that with automation, I liked the first presentation today with the automated excavator. We're going to have more automation on these job sites, which means we're going to have an increase of workers that might actually have to go to multiple job sites. Or how about instead of going to multiple job sites, with this kind of digital workspace, you can enable telepresence on those job sites without actually going there. So the idea that a hyper specialist, someone that needs to actually be at 50 job sites across the US in a given week and can't really do that, or the idea that somebody just wants to check in on these multiple job sites, we have the technology now. And as technology develops with the implementation of 5G networks, we can stream these kind of live data feeds or 360 data feeds. We could also imagine something like stepping into that excavator that was presented earlier. Maybe it's a passive feed in something like this. And if you stick your head into this, you can take over the controls and you have a full 360 view, which we did, which is in our VR experience. So I encourage you to go upstairs and check it out after the presentations here. But just ways of enabling, looking into the future and seeing how we might enable all this data usage in a futuristic workspace, something that might fit into some of the mobile headsets. It's like, you go to the cafe, you put on your headset, and suddenly you've got your damage control or, your war room for all your job sites and all the data that's coming into them. To talk a little bit more about the technical, I guess, the tools that we used to do this is one of our teammates, Russell. And anyone else, feel free to join.
Thanks, Renee. I'll speak just a little bit about some of the tools we use to put together this VR experience. And again, there are some things that don't translate well to screen, but I encourage you to go upstairs and try it. The goal was to bring together many different data sources that we're starting to generate, such as photogrammetric models from drone photography, 360 video from a job site, as well as quantitative data, your charts and graphs, and show different ways of visualizing those. So the team members were responsible for different aspects, but to list some of the resources we used, first was VR Desktop Mirror to bring in your PC desktop into that virtual space so you have full access to your PC. VRTK we used for a lot of the virtual reality controls and interactions, such as teleporting around the environment, being able to grab and interact with switches and buttons. Vimeo, we found some 360 videos. Renee also had some from actual job sites to kind of show off that data stream live from one of the work sites. And finally, VR Human Switches, which is a collection of 3D models made actually in VR for levers and buttons that we utilized. The models were built by Cynthia, Lawrence, and Renee. Lawrence also did the bulk of the animations and some of the programming. Renee did an environment layout, translation of Revit data into meshes that we could use inside the tool, and was our architectural domain knowledge expert. Eduardo did a lot of the video players and programming, and Jade did project management and design. Myself, I was responsible for code management and some of the additional programming around the edges. And again, special thanks to Adrian Padilla for his photography and the photogrammetric models that he made. I think that concludes our presentation, unless any of the members have something to add. Okay, we're ready to take questions.
So I guess this is great. It looks like that everything worked well. I'd be curious, like, how close this can be to being implemented, tomorrow. Like, who would be the true user of this or superintendent? Like, how do you see that working?
So as Renee mentioned, one of our target users was a construction professional that's responsible for kind of expert knowledge and monitoring across many different sites. That this technology is probably a few years out. We're just now getting to where the mobile headsets offer 6 degrees of freedom in your movement and are starting to get the rendering capabilities to actually have a useful portable unit. So our vision there was that this person would be a professional, maybe on physical location at one of the sites, but wants to keep abreast of what's going on at some of these other locations. So they would pull out their headset and get access to like the 360 video stream from a job site. Also not pictured here were just some of our flat displays of graphs, kind of heat charts, and other maps that you'd want to see that are flat, and be able to combine that with even a 3D photogrammetric model. We have a lever in there that when you pull that switch, your office gets transported to a photogrammetric model of that job site. And again, as Adrian was pointing out, that's something that could be updated with drones fairly frequently. So you could keep in track at least once a day, if not more, depending on how the computer-aided flight of the drones work.
Technology is there, it can just be broadened as it comes online.
Just to add a little bit to it. So to answer your question, there is who can use it and what are the useful use cases. And I would love to know who are interested and who would like to contribute to use cases that we can actually interview you to see how we can make the most viable product for a market. And the second piece is what I'm very excited that the team is very close to approach is connecting the plumbing of API data into the virtual reality. So we would like to continue to push the processing power and the usage of different data interfaces to make the dashboard useful for the users.
Thank you.